good? YouTube. We got a video from my dog Zevi, our favorite investigational journalist. We got the teens who stole 238 mil. So I was gonna pre-fire a little light. We'll make sure we hit that bell. And yeah. We just gonna get straight into it. As always, the main man Sly. Slide onto your timeline to provide you some content. Without further ado, let's straight in it.
Lone Lamb. See, in this picture, he's
Lone
celebrating
Lamb.
because him and his friends just got done stealing $200 million. But
Yes.
him and his friends had a problem because after they stole that
There's
$200
nowhere to,
million,
like,
him and his
liquidate that
friends
money.
went straight to the club, went straight to the dealership, went straight to
Stupid,
Louis
man.
Vuitton. Them boys
You gotta
started
liquidate
blowing
the
that
money
cash,
first,
which,
gang.
as you can imagine, got them some unwanted attention. But before we get into that, I know what you're wondering. How did they get all this money in the first place? Well, you see, one day or night, I don't know, I wasn't there, Malone checked his pockets. He said, "Oh, I'm broke." So he decided to get a job. The job title was scammer. Malone then finds other people in a chat room that want to scam like him, and they form a scam
I know y'all see that. Yeah, I know. 8-7. This is not 7, bro. It's a type of 17.
group. Real quick, I want you to take a look at how old
has a
they are. Now you
beard.
could probably understand why they went straight to the club as soon as they got a bunch of money. But again,
Yeah, they're pretty
we're
young.
before they got a bunch of money. Okay, so they
Right.
meet up in the chat room. Malone said, "Look, I'm trying to shine like the rappers in them. Take pictures. Smile for the camera like Uzi and them with a handbag. Who with me?" His fellow scammers, Veer
with me?
and Jondell, remember those names, said, "Yes, let's do it." Oh, and they did it. Them boys got good fast. And what they were doing was they were stealing cryptocurrency from rich people. And when I say stealing, I mean a couple $100,000
crypto is worth a
here,
lot of money.
a couple million there.
Especially if you take a bunch of like Bitcoin. The Bitcoin's worth like 66K a pop now. If you were to, in theory, take like 1,000 Bitcoin, bro, and then you liquidate that bread, you feel me? Like, it was a time where it was worth like 100K. But like I said, you take like 1,000 like coins of Bitcoin, and it's going for like 66K now. You got you a calm 66 mil off of that, off just 1,000. And there's a lot in the market.
And here's where it starts to get wicked. As they're stealing money from these rich people, one day they find somebody who's super rich. They don't know how rich this person is just yet, but they know they're rich. So they decide to do their usual scam. They get this rich person's email information and they start, let's say, spamming this email so it looks like it's getting hacked, right? So this rich person is getting alerts like, "Oh man, somebody looks like they're trying to log into your account." The rich person freaks out a little bit. But as this rich person, let's call them Richie. As Richie, the rich person, Richie is freaking out. He gets a phone call. Ring, ring, ring. It's from one of the boys. It's from one of the scammers.
Pretending to be
They
someone
said,
else.
"Hey, this is Google. It looks like your email is
They're getting flagged, give you a new password, all of that, and then they'll have it.
getting hacked. So why don't you, Richie, give us your email and password so we can log on and figure out what's going on for you." Richie says, "My email and password? What you need that for?" They said, "To calibrate the email." He said, "You guys are Google, so you guys know what you're talking about. Here's my email and password." Richie gives them his email password, but that's not enough. They also need Richie's two-factor authentication code, okay? But it's a little suspicious if you're asking for all this information. So Google, the scammers, they hang up. Richie gets another call. Ring, ring, ring. Richie said, "Hello?" It's the scammers again. But this time they're saying, "Oh, we're a cybersecurity company. We work adjacent with Google here and there. It looks like your account was getting spammed and all." Richie said, "That's what I was telling Google." They said, "Yeah, we know. So we need your two-factor authentication code, Richie."
Yeah, we know. Like, come on, bro. We know why you know.
Richie said,
This
"My
thing's a great
two-factor
storyteller.
authentication code, what you need that for?" They said, "To fix your stuff." Richie said, "You guys are a security company. That makes sense. Here's my two-factor authentication code." Richie gives them the two-factor authentication code, but it's not enough. Malone, Veer, and Jondell are getting closer and closer. They find out through his emails, oh, he has a bunch of crypto accounts. They said, perfect. But now they need the login and passwords for that. So they said, well, Richie kind of stupid. So let's just try calling them again. Ring, ring, ring. They said, "Richie." Richie said, "What's good, cybersecurity company?" They said, "We need you to download this app on your computer called AnyDesk." What AnyDesk lets you do
is
it
pull all
lets
information off
you
his computer.
see what somebody's doing on their computer. Richie said, "Why y'all need me to do?" They said, "Richie, just do it." Richie said, "All right, I'll do it." He downloads AnyDesk. They start watching Richie log into his crypto bank account. These scammers said, "Oh, Richie ain't real." They watching Richie type in his email password. And the boys, Malone, Veer, Jondell, and them.
What I tell you, What I tell you, that's Bitcoin. BTC, that's Bitcoin. You see how that's four? You see how I said with 1,000 you can hit 66 mil, 4,238 mil, and just like that, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm knowing ball.
See this, $240 million
He got all these other coins too.
dollars in crypto. Them boys said, God. Richie said,
I got
huh?
it.
They said, we so sad that you getting hacked. So we trying to save you. Richie said, okay, appreciate y'all. Y'all got all my information that I typed down and all that. They said, we gonna hang up, Richie. Y'all have a nice day. Richie said, I'm good. They said, we good. Richie said, we good. They said, we good. Them boys hang up and they take everything Richie got. They log in with the information that they saw Richie log in with. They take all his money. Now, how do I know all of this information? Well, you see,
they better not have recorded it, bro.
Jandel decided to record themselves doing all this. After they take all of Richie's money, them boys was celebrating. Then they said, you know what? This is what we got to do, though. We got to think smart. We have to take all this money and bring it to a bunch of other little accounts so it's untraceable. That's what they do.
Cool.
Then they decide, you know what else we got to do? We got to lay low, because usually when a heist happens, the criminals can't just spend the money immediately. Right. We got to give it a few weeks. But after we go to the club, of course, because we got to celebrate. So the boys decide to go to the club. They spend 50,000. They spend 20,000, 100.
You were just broke. So it's like, where did you get 100,000? It's immediately going to get flagged based off your profiling. Like, even like Shaq one time spent a lot of money and like his bank flagged it and he didn't let the purchase go through. So imagine people that were just broke like 2 seconds ago randomly putting up 100 bands, immediate flag.
1,000 on bottles. They see famous girls in the club, they see Instagram girls in the club, they just hand them out Birkin bags. They say, here you go, Birkin bag for you, Birkin bag for you. And it's at this point they looked at each other and said, how could I lay low with all this jewelry on me? They buy cars, they buy houses. And
now we know who you are. Nah, this nigga look a little insane. His eyes look a little insane, and this cut is insane. The deadly trifecta.
It's at this point they attract the wrong kind of attention. Another group of crypto scammers looked at each other and they started hating. They said, damn, them boys Malone and them getting a whole lot of money. So this group gets together and they find out Veer is trying to buy his parents a crib. As Veer's parents are driving down the streets of Miami to look for houses, this group, boom, crashes into Veer's parents. See, this group's plan is to take Veer's parents hostage so Veer can pay ransom for them, right? As Veer's parents are disoriented because they just got into a crash, some other members of this group pull up in a van, take Veer's parents, throw them in the car, drive away. But the problem is they were doing this in broad daylight. So a cop sees them. Cop chases them down.
What the fuck is they doing?
Swerves. They crash again.
Yeah, you're not professional drivers.
Them, they arrest these guys. Now, here's something I want you to understand.
But now,
anytime something sounds like it's coming out of a movie, the FBI will always try to figure out where the camera's at. If a group of people try to pull off a crazy abduction in broad daylight, the FBI are going to be the first people to ask why. But even before this...
Because people forget the most important questions are how and why. How can tell you a lot when it comes to like where, when, what, and then why gives you the rest of the information, like the what as well. You know, why did you do it? And when explaining why you did something, the what is normally included. When explaining how you did something, the when and the where is normally included.
If a group of random teenagers is buying private jets, houses, cars, making massive transactions, the FBI is going to say, I've never heard of you before.
And at the bare minimum, you could have like pumped money into like getting bots and like starting to stream, doing little stuff like that to like falsify like amounts of like different sources of income. You know, start to talk to a rapper. Oh, I can find under the table though, and then be a part of bigger projects on the low ski, and then you have some type of alibi. And even then, you wouldn't spend this amount of money to get flagged and have people pay attention to you.
I never seen your parents. You some kind of prince, some kind of king? No. Oh, you some random dude
that randomly has this much money?
You blowing a bag like this?
Interesting.
So the FBI.
Your parents just almost got abducted?
Worse, they caught the attention of a man named Zach XBT, an underground crypto investigator who never shows his face, but loves solving crypto-based crimes. In fact, the moment Veer, Jandel, and Malone stole this $240 million, Zach XBT immediately got an alert. He saw so much money moving around. Zach said,
in the market.
a case worthy of my talents.
Yeah, because think about it. People having this money in is what gives Bitcoin some of the value. So this is a sell. Let's say there's like 12,000, which it's probably way more, but let's say there's only 12,000 Bitcoin in circulation. And this person has 4,000. That is like a third of the market just disappearing. A third of the value in the coin is now gone. It's very sus.
Richie, the person who lost all this money. Remember him?
We see you.
Zach said, hello. Would you like me to get your money back? Richie said, you one of them scamming people? Zach said, do I sound like one of them scamming people? Richie said, kinda. But I already came this far. What you need me to do? Zach said, hire me so I can get your money back. Richie hires Zach. Zach decides to hunt down Malone via Jandel. In fact, Zach is the one who got the video recording of Malone, Veer, and Jandel recording themselves stealing the money. They names was in the video. Them folk calling each other by name. They said, Veer, look at how much money we got. Malone Lamb, look how much money we got. Zach said, you can't make this up. Ding, ding, ding. Zach gets in touch with the FBI. He starts helping the FBI out, giving them the video, giving them all the information. The FBI said, appreciate you. And then, well, the FBI does their thing. The oldest FBI trick in the book. Catch one, make them squeal. Now, they didn't say exactly who they caught, but people believe it was Jandel first. The FBI brings Jandel in. They said, Jandel. Jandel said, okay, his name is Veer. The other dude's name is Malone Lamb. Yeah, my name is Jandel. We did it, officer. They said, damn, we didn't even ask you a question.
That's not a 7. That's a question mark.
When Veer saw all this snitching, he decided to turn himself in. He went to the FBI. He said, Malone Lamb. Jandel, he started telling too. The FBI said, damn, this is an open and shut case, ain't it? So they decided to let Veer go out on bail. But I'm not even going to change the picture because I want to show you how fast Veer went back to jail. Veer leaves on bail. He steals $200,000 scamming again. He gambles.
You're already being watched for doing it.
$200,000 and loses it all in 40 minutes. The FBI call him up. They said, we saw what you did. Put your hands behind your back. Veer said, y'all not even here. We on the phone. They said, arrest yourself. We're going to come pick you up because you stupid. He said, all right. They locked Veer up. And as for Malone, they labeled him as the ringleader, which Malone denies. Malone is basically saying he was just following orders. He not like the ringleader and all that. If you're the ringleader, you get in the most time. So Malone decides he's going to trial, and his trial hasn't started yet, so we have to wait and see what happens. But since there's so much evidence against Malone, Veer, and Jandel, they most likely will be spending most of their adult life.
That's correct. No outro? He almost sold my bag. Yeah, man, that was another fire video from Zevi. As always, make sure y'all stay happy, healthy, and hydrated. And as always, you know, time to catch me next. Peace.